Well, welcome aboard OSLOFJORD. She's a 2008 model Grand Banks 72 and one of the finest vessels the Grand Banks has ever made, and one of the nicest, well-kept Grand Banks 72s on the market today. Okay, so up to the Flybridge on OSLOFJORD. You can enter from the pilot house right here, just up 3 steps, very simple, or you can come up the aft deck on a fairly nice inclined ladder. So getting up here, you have 2 skid seats forward. These are recently been renewed. Forward here, you have a beautiful console that has 3 17-inch Garmin screens that are just a few years old. It's got a newer FLIR camera here, and then several Garmin repeaters so that you can set up your wind or depth or anything you want all the way around. Chart locker on this side. Very comfortable L-settee on this side. It's mirrored on the opposite side with these teak tables in between. Nice non-skid deck up here. There's a separate stereo area for up here that's operated from the main stereo down below. Overhead lighting for nighttime. Just a really nice setup. So right now we have the tender off in the water, and on the back deck here we have the dinghy chocks, and dinghy runs fore and aft. Dinghy chocks, the 1,000-pound Airtex crane on this side, and it's full function with rotation and all. Very easy setup. She launches, of course, off that starboard side. Here's your hatch for the downward back deck, direct access with the staircase. On the port side over here, we have a new Kenyon grill, very nice setup, and then a nice freezer and ice maker in this side, but a nice spacious aft deck. So if you had the chocks off the boat, you could easily nicely set this up with deck furniture, chairs, and just another place to hang out if you have the dinghy in the water on the back deck. So this is the bridge from OSLOFJORD. I'll open this hatch so you can see what it's like with it open and how easy it is to just simply transverse down into the pilot house area. Really nice Flybridge. Okay, so on the aft deck of OSLOFJORD, the Grand Banks 72, so we have an upper and a lower aft deck. This one, you know, just right outside the Salon, comes out, very, very nice seating on both sides, port and starboard, and then the teak table in between. Then we have the director's chairs all the way around. This table can also come apart. This can flip onto this side and the opposite side. So if you're just coming out for a cocktail or something, or just to use the seating, the whole table's not on the way to have to go around. Just gives you some choices. There's a nice drink holder in between there. Nice, you know, proper railings all the way around. That's the ladder to the Flybridge that we talked about when we were on the upper deck. When we come over to the sides here, and you can do this on either port or starboard, access to the lower cockpit. This lower cockpit option was added to the original Grand Banks 64 Aleutian design, and as soon as we added it, everybody wanted it and everybody had to have it. And it does several things. Well, one, of course, gives you this area that's much closer to the water. So for water sports, whether it's fishing, using the tender, jet ski, or whatever, this is a much easier way to be able to be working with that than up on top. The other thing it does is it gives us a really nice engine room access to this aft door here. And so compared to some of our smaller boats where you're doing it up underneath the seat or something, this is giving a proper main ship door access into the engine room. Also a secondary access into the crew area. As we go along the back here, there's a sink here, fridge and freezer on this side, storage there, another nice grill on this side. So you've got the same kind of setup top and bottom depending on what your activities of the day are. The gunnels here are very high. Everywhere we go on the boat, the gunnels are going to feel high, and it's going to feel very safe to go around. You look off at our docking cleats on the side here, and you know they have to be at least 1 foot long. Very heavy duty. The boat weighs a lot, and everything aboard the boat feels like it's a beautiful Grand Banks to its great build. On this side we have of course the shower, hot and cold water on that side, transom door that leads out to the nice swim platform on this side. We have 2 shore power cords, so we have 2 50 amps, so you can run a lot of things on the boat with just the one, but if you want to run everything, then you have the two. But in a pinch, when you can only get one pedestal, you can get by that way. A lot of the boats came equipped with a standard just 100 amp plug, where it was very scarce to try to find one of those, or you had to bring a splitter. This is a much easier way to do it, and the cord's much lighter to get around. But both are on Glendinning cable masters to make it really easy. So this is the lower cockpit and the upper cockpit of OSLOFJORD. So if we want to walk down the deck, let's go down the starboard deck. We have a wing door here, so this is meant so that when the boat's running, it's keeping any spray or wind off the nice back seating back here. But as you go up, you see the rail height again is very, very comfortable. These are nice bevel, ovaled rails, very thick, very sturdy all the way down. You see these drains throughout the boat, back in the cockpit, just to let any sea go. Fuel fill for the main tank is right here on the side, and just a very easy spot. And then it's just really up the 2 steps here. You've got pilot house door on this side. Now you have these port and starboard. And then as you go up, get nice wide. We're coming into the Portuguese bridge area. Very beautiful feature, and very nice to be able to walk up to this at mid-height and be able to feel really safe here and comfortable here. So looking out over the beautiful foredeck, you can really feel the beam of the boat. It's almost 20 feet wide. This is a whole separate area, on its own. Usually I see several nice deck chairs up here, or sometimes lie-out sunbed type cushions. There's a couple of really nice seats here that can be used for that as well. So just a really nice, roomy area, and more areas like this we can have on a yacht like this, the better it all is. So our anchor setup is a twin anchor platform with 2 windlasses, one on each side. I think both of these have straight chain. Lockers on both sides for fenders, extra lines. There's a freshwater washdown inside this one. And then again, nice big hawse holes with big cleats. It's very tough, strong, beautifully built boat, and everything shows that for her hardware all the way around. Underneath the cushions here, the seats, there's storage underneath those two, which is great for dock lines. And you can see, just like we're looking on the other side, all these rails. If you're up here in some kind of seaway, the rail is also always at the right height to be able to make you feel safe. There's a life raft stowed on this starboard side. This is a newer one. I think it's about 3 years old that they upgraded to just recently. So on a nice cradle and mounted nicely. All this non-skid too was just freshly repainted in the last few weeks, so it really looks nice everywhere you go on the boat. So down the port side, so same setup. Here's the other pilot house door on the port. There are some fender lines like this one that are working great. We're all tied up here. As we get to about this point, we have a door that leads directly down into the cruise quarters. And on the 72, the cruise quarters is in front of the engine room, and it's very substantial for the size boat. It's much bigger than the 64, but I'd say 3 times as large, and it has a full head shower. It's a really comfortable space with its own door access. Nobody has to go through the cockpit for any reason. You can just come through the side boarding gate that's right here. This one's open. Of course, we have those on port and starboard side. The crew could also go through that engine room access that we saw earlier, because it leads right into that spot. And of course, it's all air conditioned, and it's a nice space. So the engine room on OSLOFJORD, we have twin C18 1,000 horsepower Caterpillars. This boat has always been, very, very lightly run, very, very well taken care of. She's had one owner. She's always been captain run and captain maintained. The 1,000 horsepower C18s, being that inline 6, provide a great deal of more space in and around that engine room than the C30 does. Everything has a trade-off, but this is a really nice setup. The engine is, big enough to still provide some really nice speed, and as well, it's a little more fuel saving if you're trying to get distance. She holds a lot of fuel, 2,600 gallons, so you can run a long distance. You can get a little more speed if you run with half fuel, if you're really trying to get high teens for cruise. But really a nice setup. Twin generators, Northern Lights, one on each side. They have about equal hours on them, so one of those will power the whole boat. And then from the from the transformers to the power steering to the NIAD stabilization. Everything in that engine room is properly laid out and fairly easy to get to everything. It's a really nice spot. All right, so entering the Salon in OSLOFJORD, we have two twin AirTechs electric doors here. Makes this a very wide opening and very easy to be able to work with. There's a control panel inside that'll lock it open, lock it shut, or leave it on auto. It's very simple to use. As you come inside, on the port side, we have a built-in kind of desk arrangement on this side. I think this works really well for someone that wants to sit here and work on a laptop or something, but have the beautiful view from upstairs rather than closed in down below. As we come up farther forward, there's some storage lockers, beautiful L's to T down this port side, and just beautifully done in teak. Up here, they've got a spot where they have pictures. Other people have artwork and stuff, but that's just a great cove for that. Some air conditioning controls over here and outlets. On this side, midway down, is the TV for this room, and it's on a lift, very easy to do. If we can walk right up to the 220/110 panel here, and I just find this such a great spot because from here, not just the breakers that we're of course constantly looking at, but we have the chilled water control system and the two generator gauges and the start stops, the shore power, well actually it's the inverter bypass switch. All important stuff that you're working with every day, but an easy place to walk up to it. Otherwise it just stays hidden away. Down this starboard side, we have two spots for really two barrel chairs, and they can be, a newer style and actually be, something that you would choose yourself. Very nice though. On this side, back in the back, we've got an ice maker here, a spot for some glasses on the top. You can see all the windows are very large. The sight lines out are very good. We've got the shadow boxes here, so there's blinds up inside each one of these throughout the boat. Just a really nice area, and you can really feel the beam in here again at almost 20 feet. So when we come up here, this is the transition to the pilot house. So it's just up these few steps, and then we're up into the pilot house area. On this starboard side, this is the walk-up that goes up to the Flybridge that we saw earlier, but you can see it's really simple to be able to get up to that pilot house helm or just engage with people that might be up on that level. And then your starboard side access door here, port side over here. And then the galley is in this area as well. U-shaped, very large and comfortable, nice high counters and lots of storage. So there are refrigerators on this side and on this side. There's another bank on the outboard side. There's lots of storage lockers going this way against the pilot house, and then a microwave down below, and then this overhead locker, which has really deep cabinets in it. It goes up like that to make the sight lines better if you're going to be driving down below, but this is a nice deep locker, and it's designed to do exactly what these guys are doing here on board the boat. Otherwise, if you're down here running the boat, then this being away is a really nice thing. So below, we have a 4-burner Miele cooktop. There's a nice big vent in the back that comes up in the back by Miele there. There's an opening window right here, so if you're cooking in this area, you can vent it out. There's an opening one on the starboard side as well. Looking back this way, we have a Miele dishwasher, a compactor, and we have a lot of drawers for storage here. So there's a bank of 4 and another bank of 4 here, and these are all nice and deep, and they make really good storage between all of them. There's a nice big locker right here that pulls out, and we come up to the lower station. You can see the vision from here is really good. We're way far forward on the boat, so this isn't really a deficit station to drive. A lot of times people like driving from here, especially inshore, better than upstairs, but it's nice to have a choice. Now this one's set up with 2 Garmin screens, and then it has excuse me, it has VHF on this side. It has 3 of the Garmin repeaters on the opposite side. Of course, the Caterpillar gauges. the bow and stern thruster, and that should be somewhat of a highlight because a lot of these boats, we had the bow thrusters being hydraulic, but we did not have a stern thruster, and this one has both, so both stations have that available. Just you know, really nice layout here. I can see really easily to operate the boat in a comfortable way. You may come down here when you're driving the boat and have dinner with everybody else or something. It's not hard to do at all. So when you look back to the starboard side, there's a settee up here for the pilot house. So there's, you know, comfortable seating for several people, and then a nice teak table in between. There's also a good amount of storage underneath those cushions. You know, sometimes that's a good long-term provisions for, you know, other food and things for up in this area. So the other freezer unit that I was talking about is here. In this spot here. So between what we have in the galley, and then we have another fridge up on the top deck, one in the back deck, and then we have plenty of room to add any other deck freezers or fridges or anything else you want, especially with that nice lower cockpit. So this is the pilot house level on OSLOFJORD. So we're on the lower deck of OSLOFJORD. So we'll start off in the VIP. So of course we're entering through this nice teak door here. In this room, you have access into a head that has a separate stall shower into it from here. We also use this as a day head, so we have a separate entry door from the hallway. But if you're staying in this cabin, you can lock that door out and make it very private. So here we have a beautiful queen size berth, lots of storage, plentiful all the way around, everywhere you look. We have two opening ports, one on each side, nice overhead hatch. Catalupi reading lights on the forward side, and just that beautiful Grand Banks teak finish that it's hard to replicate. On the starboard side is the hanging locker, and it's a nice tall one. Everything is cedar lined inside these boats from the Aleutian series. We've got a ladder in here, then it's an emergency ladder that fits in up here to head out that way that meets a code of some sort. So heading back, so we're heading near the mid stateroom in this boat. So when we come down the companionway, just kind of opposite that, we have two really large, comfortable single berths. So no bed to make up or convert in this one. It just has two nice berths, and these just aren't kids' berths. These are at least 6'8" long, quite wide and comfortable. Nice locker in between for storage. Very good headroom in this room, and then a private head and shower that's just for this room alone. TV over here, of course, separate air conditioning. You have an opening port right here in the hull side, and then another one that's in the galley area. So you do get two areas of fresh air from outside in this room. So then if we come out of this room and we head aft, we walk down 2 steps. We have a stacked washer dryer in the center right here. Do the latch there. So if you have that open, stacked set of washer dryer here, and an easy spot to be able to use. And then coming back, you have the beautiful King Master, custom spec by her current owners, who were the original ones, and just, you know, every little detail that I would have picked, you know, are really here. So that's under berth storage as you go around. There's also a huge area in the center of this berth for storage underneath there, like for luggage and stuff. Really a nice spot. There's a vanity area over on this side with a mirror underneath the top that flips up, and then two opening ports on each side. All of these are going to have screens too, but 2 on each side, so you do get cross ventilation in here. So if you're in the north or you're in the cool and you want to open the boat up, you can. Again, I can really feel the width in here. Being almost 20 feet wide, this is a really comfortable room. But as I look down each side here, all these lockers, they're all deep and comfortable here. Again, a shadow box here with a blind on it, so I can drop that down. TV is forward at the head of the bed. Just a really nice space, and it's been really well cared for. This boat, OSLOFJORD, is in excellent condition. So coming down this side, a bunch of drawers on the, yep, and then into this master head. And again, just like everything else in this room, it is very comfortable. So nice mirror on this side, another opening port inside this room itself. Thank you for taking the time to tour OSLOFJORD with me today. This is Steve Fithian from Grand Banks Yachts, your Grand Banks Yacht Specialist. If you have any more questions or want other details, please let me know and I'll follow up with you promptly.